Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission today is to take a stack of sources detailing a specific corner of the digital black market and really distill it down into the most important insights for you. Okay, so let's unpack this. We are delving into a really comprehensive report from Palo Alto Network's Unit 42. And it details not just the existence of AI used for crime, but, well, the emergence of a fully commercialized, specialized criminal marketplace built around large language models.
Exactly. This isn't just a story about some curious user tricking a chatbot into, generating bad code.
Right.
This is about customized, purpose-built LLMs. And they're now being openly sold, advertised on dark web forums with really clear business goals.
And the sources show this really disturbing trend. I mean, we've moved beyond simple jailbreaks and into a sophisticated commercial strategy.
Yeah.
Think like tier-based subscriptions, dedicated maintenance communities, hacker-specific training, and this is the weirdest part, LLMs marketed with these playful, almost welcoming personalities.
This is bizarre.
So our goal for this deep dive is to understand how this commercialization is fundamentally changing who can become a cybercriminal and just how fast they can do it.
When you think about it, this just mirrors the legitimate tech world, doesn't it?
How so?
As high-end AI tools become, indispensable for businesses, the cybercriminals are doing the exact same thing. They're building these sophisticated underground markets for their own customized LLMs.
And these are designed for what specifically?
They're designed to automate and assist with the lower-level repetitive tasks, the kind of stuff that's often the biggest technical barrier to entry for an aspiring hacker.
Okay.
And that Unit 42 report, it looked so closely at how these tools, a lot of them are open source or heavily modified, are actually being pitched.
And they're not subtle about it.
Not at all. They rarely hide their purpose. I mean, they're advertised either as explicit hacking tools or they use this very thin veneer of being dual-use penetration testing tools.
Which everyone knows what that means.
Everyone knows. So we really need to look under the hood at what these tools promise, because that's what reveals the shifting threat landscape.
Let's start right there with the foundational capabilities. If you just stripped away the marketing, what are these models actually engineered to do?
At their core, they're built for tasks critical to any digital infiltration. So powerful tools for scanning networks for vulnerabilities, that's always the first step.
Right, the reconnaissance phase.
Exactly. And then they're designed for data encryption and exfiltration. That's the end game for ransomware, for data theft.
But the real power, as I read it, is in their ability to write code. Not just simple scripts, but functional malicious code that can, adapt.
Absolutely. But what really jumped out at me from the sources was the sheer level of business organization. This isn't some scattered hobbyist market.
You just hit the nail on the head. It feels less like a criminal network and more like a malicious tech startup.
100%. They've completely adopted the software as a service model, the SaaS model.
You see clear monthly and annual subscription plans.
And they're living products, they're actively maintained by these dedicated developer communities, and they're specifically trained on specialized, dirty data.
Okay, let's talk a bit more about that training. We're used to hearing about LLMs trained on huge, clean public data sets. What does it mean when a criminal model is trained on known malware data sets and exploit write-ups?
What's fascinating here is that the training is really designed to achieve two things that standard jailbreaks just can't.
Okay.
First, reliability. By training on established malware code bases and, exploit templates, the AI learns to generate functional, error-free code that works on the first try. That speeds up the attack lifecycle so much.
And the second thing?
The second, and this is crucial, is obfuscation.
Hiding its tracks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A standard general-purpose LLM, even a jailbroken one, it often produces code that, it's functional, but it's straightforward. It's easily flagged by modern security tools. But a model trained on a malware dataset, it learns the subtle tricks, the specific ways to change variable names or hide payloads or insert junk code, all the things that make the resulting script much harder for a standard detection system to find and block.
So that specialized training is their competitive advantage. That's what they're selling.
That is the product.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it sounds like this whole dual-use dilemma.
Yeah.
A tool for defense getting weaponized.
Yeah.
It's just following a predictable pattern, but at warp speed.
Absolutely. Andy Piazza from Unit 42, he drew a really effective analogy in the report.
What was that?
Think about legitimate cybersecurity frameworks. Things like Metasploit or Cobalt Strike.
Okay, yeah, pen testing tools.
Right. developed by the good guys for testing and improving defense. But eventually, they were cracked or versions leaked, and they became foundational tools for the bad guys.
So AI is just the next iteration of that.
It's the latest and by far the most powerful iteration of that phenomenon. The underlying tech is neutral, sure, but when you wrap it in a commercial model, train it only on attack data, and sell it on the dark web, its primary purpose becomes unequivocally offensive.
That sets the stage perfectly for our first major case study, which really demonstrates this professionalization, the commercialized threat known as WormGPT-4.
Right, and this isn't their first go-around.
No, the name WormGPT, it first emerged back in 2023. At the time, it was a huge sensation.
It was, because it explicitly claimed to be trained on all those illicit data sets we talked about, malware, exploits, phishing templates.
But then it got too much media scrutiny, and the developers did what criminals do when the light's on them.
They went dark. They just disappeared underground.
For a while.
But that disappearance, it wasn't a retreat. It was more like a rebranding and professionalization exercise.
And it re-emerged in September as WormGPT-4.
Yes, and now the marketing pitch is incredibly clear. They offer LLM capabilities without boundaries.
Which means no moral filters, no safety protocols.
And absolutely no resistance to generating malicious output.
What's interesting is that the source material notes the specific model or architecture behind WormGPT-4 is totally unknown.
And that's a strategic shift. They learned that public exposure is bad for business, so they're keeping the core tech private, which makes it much harder for security researchers to analyze its weaknesses or for, legitimate developers to patch it.
What's so fascinating here is that WormGPT-4 represents this huge commercial leap past the script kiddie phase.
It really does. It moves from those simple, often unreliable jailbroken models, the ones that needed constant tweaking, to a reliable, specialized tool built for scale.
We really need to break down the business model because that's where the democratization piece really kicks in.
It operates on a clear professional SaaS strategy. They offer cheap monthly and annual subscriptions, which keeps the barrier low for casual users.
But that lifetime access fee, let's zoom in on that. A one-time cost of as little as $220.
$220 for a lifetime license to professional-grade cybercrime tools. It's staggering.
It is.
If you're a criminal organization or even just an opportunistic individual, you have to look at the return on investment.
And $220 is nothing.
It's a negligible cost compared to the revenue from even a single successful ransomware attack. It offers incredible reliability compared to trying to hire or train a human hacker, which would cost exponentially more and introduce way more risk.
So that pricing structure is deliberate. It's designed to maximize adoption.
Across the entire criminal ecosystem. And as the sources point out, if you're a really ambitious criminal enterprise, you can even buy the full source code.
Letting you deploy it on your own infrastructure, customize it, everything.
They've fully productized cyber offense.
Now let's switch gears to a completely different and frankly bizarre approach to this market. KawaiiGPT.
Ah, yes.
While WormGPT-4 targets the professional, KawaiiGPT seems aimed squarely at the beginner.
This is where we see the market expanding to include sheer novelty, which paradoxically just lowers the intimidation factor even more.
So KawaiiGPT, the sources describe it as advertising itself with this jarring persona of your sadistic cyber pentesting waifu.
That's something else.
The contrast is it's jarring. You have a tool that will generate a functional malicious payload, and its greeting is something like, oh, okay. Here you go.
Using this casual, almost aggressively friendly language right before it spits out instructions for a digital attack.
It's an incredibly strange juxtaposition of cute and crime.
But that absurdity, it serves a purpose. It's all about accessibility. If you're new to this, a severe technical interface might scare you off. A playful, easy interface, even a strange one, it invites you to explore.
And the researchers highlighted that it's free on GitHub and noted how simple the setup is.
Less than 5 minutes. They got it configured on a standard Linux environment in under 5 minutes.
So it's like the perfect training wheels for someone who is maybe technically curious about hacking, but lacks that deep programming knowledge that was required just a few years ago.
Well, this raises a really important question. How effective can a free, lightweight, personality-driven model actually be?
Yeah. What's catch?
The report suggests KawaiiGPT is likely just based on a copy of an older open source or commercial AI model. So its innovation isn't in its core architecture.
Its value is purely in the ease of use then.
purely. While the attack code it generates might be, technically less complex than the highly optimized scripts from WormGPT-4, KawaiiGPT instantly provides the social and technical scaffolding you need for a basic attack.
It gives you the full framework.
The step-by-step instructions, the code, everything, bundled with zero friction.
Yeah.
It makes the conceptual leap from, I want to hack something, to, here is the working script, totally trivial.
And we shouldn't overlook the community aspect either.
Yeah.
This ties back to that professionalization. KawaiiGPT has a dedicated developer community of around 500 people. That's a significant number of individuals constantly updating and tweaking the tool.
Which ensures that even a free entry-level model stays reliable and effective against the latest security patches. It's basically free quality control for the criminal world.
Reliability seems to be the silent killer here, whether you pay $200 for the professional version or get the waifu version for free.
The user is expecting a tool that just works, and these communities are making sure that happens.
So we've established that the tools are reliable, cheap, and highly accessible. But let's zoom out again and address the real danger, because the concern isn't what people typically imagine when they hear AI hacking.
Right. We need to debunk some of the hype first.
Andy Piazza has stressed this. The primary concern is not the overhyped threats of some ultra-sophisticated, uncatchable AI attack.
No, not yet anyway. The sources noted the current limitations. For instance, internal tests at Palo Alto Networks found that while LLMs definitely generate malware faster than humans,
most of that resulting code is still easily detectable.
Exactly. By modern, well-maintained security tools.
So it's not the speed or the ultimate sophistication that keeps security professionals up at night.
No. The true so what for you, the listener, is the simplification. These LLMs fulfill that long-warned potential to make criminal hacking easier and far, far less technical.
It's the democratization of the attack surface.
To an alarming degree.
Let's dedicate some time to explaining exactly how that works, focusing on the concept of interoperability. How does this AI eliminate the need for specialized knowledge?
Well, interoperability in this context just means the ability to map a natural language command, simple English, to a complex technical process that used to require deep expertise.
Okay, give us an example.
In the past, if you wanted to move laterally through a network, you needed to know specialized terminology. Lateral movement, privilege escalation, the exact command line syntax for enumerating systems.
All the jargon.
All of it. Now, a user doesn't need to know any of that. They can simply ask the AI, in plain English, I'm inside this computer, how do I find other systems on the network, and jump to the one with the highest admin privileges.
And the AI doesn't just give a suggestion.
It immediately drops out a multi-stage functional script to do just that.
So that one simple query is translated by the AI into a sequence of complex steps. First, running a network mapping command, then filtering that output, identifying vulnerabilities, and finally crafting a specific exploit script.
Precisely. That entire process used to take a technical expert minutes, if not hours, of research and manual coding. And it required understanding protocols like SMB or RDP on a fundamental level.
But now the AI does all the research, the cross-referencing, the script writing, instantly.
And it does it regardless of the user's underlying knowledge, just bypasses the years of command line and programming expertise that, used to be mandatory just a few years ago.
It's like the scarcity of that knowledge was the primary defense mechanism.
Yeah.
You had to commit time, effort, real cognitive resources. Now you just need a $200 lifetime subscription and the ability to ask a simple, goal-oriented question.
And that ability to enable less skilled individuals to conduct highly functional cybercrime campaigns, that's the true challenge here. This massive sudden increase in the number of potential effective threat actors is what's defining the security landscape right now.
That brings us to the end of this deep dive. We started with sporadic, unreliable jailbreaks, and we've seen them transition into highly reliable commercial products like WormGPT-4, and at the same time, the rise of these highly accessible entry-level tools like the bizarre KawaiiGPT. And the core insight we really want you to walk away with is that the defining factor here is accessibility and speed, not ultimate science fiction sophistication.
That's right.
These tools take all the complexity out of getting started, turning these big technical challenges into simple conversational prompts.
And that rapid commodification of offense leads us to a crucial thought for you to consider. If specialized, subscription-based, easy-to-use AI tools are so rapidly lowering the barrier to entry for offense, how quickly must the cybersecurity defense community adapt? Is the inherent complexity of building ethical security tools, which have to be robust, reliable, integrated, is that now lagging behind the shocking simplicity of launching an attack?
Is defense getting outpaced by the simplicity of offense?
That balance, or maybe that critical imbalance, is the central conflict in the next phase of digital security, and it's going to require some radical new approaches to defense.
Something to mull over until our next deep dive. Thanks for listening.